questions based on this and some other open mics we've had. Is there a role for some of the collagen patches or something in addition to this? I mean, where would you use that, or in what setting? Do either of you combine these in various situations?
I personally, Ira, don't believe in collagen patches.
Okay.
The only place pork and beef have is on my dinner plate, and not on the cuff. I believe strongly in biology, and the only data into I did a lot of SCRs initially in 2016, and at the 5 year outcome, I had an 80% failure of my allograft. The collagen patch SCRs at 5 years from the
Yep.
glenoid. Globally, I think the best data is what Dr. Mihara has published with using fasciolata, and for cultural reasons and adoption reasons in Australia, that's not very common. But that autologic patch, I think, has the biggest data. The rest, in my hands, no. Could you put a patch on top of this with DBF at the bottom? Answer to that is you could do whatever you like, and then you can put a balloon on top of the patch. But if for me to be as a purist, repair the cuff and add the tetris implant, which is really easy to do. And if this gives you a 97% healing rate, then I don't know.
Ira, what I would say is I think Ashish's analogy of the rotator cuff being an organ is really a nice way to think about it, right? And the organ has three parts. It's got muscle, it's got tendon and tendon interface, and tendon to bone interface. And you can have deficiency at any of those parts. Tendon to bone, tendon to bone deficiency is by far the most common. That's probably 90+% of the cases that we deal with. You can have tendon deficiency, and I think it's some of those MRIs that Ashish showed us. One could argue that the tendon may be deficient, and that might be the role for a collagen patch where you need to augment the collagen tissue, but also provide enthesis reconstruction, where I would consider using both. And then you have muscle deficiency. And if you have true muscle deficiency, and Ashish brings up a good point about how do we measure muscle deficiency, if that really exists, then I think we're in the realm of tendon transfers where you need to bring in an external power source or reverse arthroplasty. So I think if we think about it algorithmically in terms of what's missing and what do we need, we can probably identify a better way of making decisions about how to manage these patients rather than the hodgepodge that exists right now.